And welcome back to part 5 of what if Radditz and Goku had gone to Earth together. Last time, they had finished the first tournament, and Roshi still managed to win, but it was mostly because Goku had barely got a win on Radditz, and was tired as hell afterwards. So we cut to the aftermath now. Now, before we go in, just a couple quick little notes, just to bring up real quick. A, someone brought up the comment of, is Kami going to basically alter the hyperbolic time chamber to get stronger? And B, why was someone brought up a good point. Do the Guardians of the Earth have to take some sort of oath not to get involved at all? Well, let's actually start with the second one first. I don't think they have to take some sort of oath per se, at least as far as I'm aware, but we do know they will get involved when the time is right. Even though it's not canon, he did eventually get involved to deal with Garlic Jr. in the Dead Zone movie, although he got involved after he had freaking wished on Shenron for immortality. So timing, old man, but still he got involved. I think it's also the fact that Kami just knows he's too old to be fighting. I think that's another factor as why Kami didn't get involved. And Dende's power is just too weak to really, deal with that. So if Kami's strong enough to get involved and the need is there, yes, I think he will get involved. But B, will he alter the hyperbolic time chamber? After the second usage, yeah, I think he will. I think he will, after his training as best he can to get stronger, I think he will ultimately alter the hyperbolic time chamber. Just because Dende, who was much weaker, was able to do that. But he was a more powerful guardian in the sense of what he could do with Shenron. Go figure. Probably his youth or something like that. So, ultimately, yeah, Kami's going to sort that out. Also, I'll say this. Kami, after his training, his power level right now is probably hovering, because we're talking about 2 times through the hyperbolic time chamber, plus using the other means they have, because they have other means of training on the lookout besides the hyperbolic time chamber. Kami's power right now is hovering probably around a 9,000-ish. Bardock is still stronger, but Bardock also sensed that Kami got a really big buff. And probably will want to, take him on to, try him out. Well, I say that, but Bardock can't sense energy at this time yet. But when Bardock eventually learns how to sense energy. So, just wanted to get those quick things out of the way. I feel like there was another thing I wanted to bring up, but whatever. So, with that, what happens? Well, we hit the Red Ribbon Army arc now. And this is interesting, because initially Goku just didn't have anything to do. He just wanted to travel the world and find his grandpa's 4-star ball. And that's how he ran across the Red Ribbon Army. But that's not, they don't care about the Dragon Balls ultimately in this. They got their parents back. They're living in a nice little place near Gohan in the woods, mountains, or, just relaxing after tournament, doing some light training. I actually don't think you get much with the Red Ribbon Army initially. However, what I think you do get is Kami actually contacting them, saying, I need your assistance. And they fly out, say, what's up, Kami? And say, as you know, as the guardian of the Earth, it's my job to keep the Earth safe. However, unless if it's a dire matter, I'm not permitted. I think that's more like what it is. It has to be a dire matter for him to actually get involved. Unless it's a dire matter, I myself am prohibited from actually intervening in Earth. So I've asked you, for your assistance in the matter at hand. It's like, well, we owe you one, so yeah, sure. What's up? What do you need? They're a group known as the Red Ribbon Army. Are you aware of them? Now, Bardock and Gine, no, they probably haven't been in Earth long enough to really be aware of them. Radditz and Goku probably know of them. They've probably heard the name before. But hell, I mean, Goku had lived for God knows how long around there, and he still hadn't heard of them at all. Not to say that he's impervious to hearing about them. It's just one of those things where maybe he could have heard them in passing, but nothing serious. But yeah, Radditz and Goku being a bit more worldly in this version, they've heard the name. Radditz, we've heard the name before. What do they want? Is it an army? They're a organization, a coalition, an army big enough to threaten the entire imbalance of the world if they were to go to war with the government. But they were fine, or they were they were content planning their goals for a while. But now they seek the Dragon Balls. They've already collected several. should they get a hold of the Dragon Balls, there's no telling what a fate could befall this world. It's like, well, why don't we each? How many do they have? It's like, according to my estimations, they have 3 so far. Well, then why don't we just go? There's 4 of us. Gine, why don't Gine, Radditz, go, Kakarot. Why don't we all just split up and go after one? It's like, sure. Now, here's the thing, too. I would imagine Kami, because Kami created the damn things, I have to believe he knows where the Dragon Balls are at any given time. He just normally doesn't stop people from making wishes, because normally people can't find these things anyway. So, and even then, most of the time, the wish usually isn't that bad. But if he here's the thing, I would like to say if he feels there'd be nefarious forces at hand, he'd get involved. But then why didn't he get involved with Pilaf? My guess is because he could sense that Goku and the gang were there trying to intervene. That's my working theory. Otherwise, it does kind of speak to the fact that Kami really was a shitty guardian. Like he thought he was doing right. It's like, you're doing right by letting him do. Then again, Maze also he logicked that rationale. He rationed that just because someone rules the world doesn't mean the world's balance is out of whack. He in theory could have perfectly fine balance. But if not, then, I'll get involved at that point. That could have been his way of looking at it, his rationale. I can't speak for certain, unfortunately. But what I can speak to is, they agree. How do we find them? I can give you the locations. And so Kami sends each of them off for the Dragon Balls. Now, okay, got to remember who was who here. Blue was the blonde. I can always remember Blue. He is the guy who stands out the most. Silver, red, gold. I think that was who there. The guy with the eye patch, the redhead guy. The Red Ribbon Army arc, admittedly, is where things get a little foggy for me in the Dragon Ball series, at least from my recollection. But I mean, each of them go into start looking for the Dragon Ball, and each of them relatively find them. Like I'd imagine Gine has no real trouble, and Radditz has no real trouble. Bardock and Goku, on the other hand, they run into. I could say Goku runs into Blue, and then Bardock runs into. I'm guessing Silver's where Ader was, if I remember correctly, or I can't remember exactly who it was. Either way, and he just bursts them both. Bardock just tears through these guys, and this general or colonel, whichever one it was, tries to square off, and then she's like, "Yep." Yeah, it's like, yep. Oh, that's impressive. Okay, where's the Dragon Ball, dude? Or where's the Dragon Ball, pal? It's like, Android 8, get him! And it's like, I don't want to. It's like, Bardock can't sense Android energy, so he does get taken by surprise by 8 briefly, but 8 we know is a pacifist. If I'm remembering the scenario correctly, I'm probably not, if I'm going to be honest. And I'm going to get so much flack for not remembering correctly. That, it's like, I don't wish to fight you, please. I think I remember now. Wasn't he locked up because he didn't want to fight because he was just a peaceful guy? I think that's what it was, wasn't it? Anyway, so, Bardock, finds a Dragon Ball. He actually looks around, finds the prisoners. I can see him releasing Ader. Meanwhile, Goku squares off against Blue, and Blue does have that weird paralysis technique. And it does work on Goku, I think, still, because it's just a very odd technique. It's kind of like, the electric attack that Roshi uses. I can't remember the name of that one. So, I think words there. Goku gets shot, Blue eventually tries to beat him down, but mentally tries to beat him down, the effects wear off, and Goku just immediately wails him and rails him, and he's done. So they collected 4 of the Dragon Balls, but now the Red Army has 3, whereas their group has 4. And I imagine their word gets out, it's like, we're going to have to draw them out for the Dragon Balls. So, they all meet up in this location. And you kind of just wait for them to show up. And sure enough, the Red Army eventually shows up with General Tao, or Tao Pa Pao. who, was hired to basically do the job. And, he's like, so you're the ones giving everyone such a difficult time. How about we all be good little boys and girls and just hand over the Dragon Balls and we don't have to make things get messy, shall we? Is it, no. It's like, yeah, no, piss off, old man. I was like, go screw it, Kakarot. It's like, what, Mom? He's a jerk. It's like, that's no excuse. It's like, I tried to be civil about this. Whatever, I get paid either way. So I'll probably just to get it there and be like, yeah, and he's like, Dodon Ray, and they're just, boom. It's like, oh, first person besides Roshi and Gohan I've seen use a ki blast on this planet. Interesting. It's like, oh, you think you're such tough individuals, don't you? You think you're some skilled fighters. You have no idea who you're dealing with. And, he just tries to get in there to, and then just, boom. They each get a good, like, even Gina's like, you're not a good man. And just kick his ass and throw him into the distance. And everyone, all the Red Remembers like, shoot him, blow him off, and you start laying waste to them with gunfire, or what they think is laying waste, where they're just kind of like standing and kind of avoiding, dodging. It's like, wow, these guys really mean business, huh? It's like, well, if you mean business, you mean they're scared of the pansies. Then I happen to agree. I was like, yeah, seriously, this is dumb. And you start swinging tanks around, be like, they basically end the Red Ribbon Army pretty quick. So now you get into the next tournament with Tien Shannon. I think at this point they've all realized they're too powerful for the tournament. Just because, I think Goku would still want to maybe try to participate. But Radditz like, we're too strong for the Earthlings at the moment. The power levels just won't be able to match us. Speaking of which, I still think more training always continues with Saiyans. Like, they're never going to stop training, especially with Kakarot and Radditz and Bardock. Bardock, again, give it a year. He's probably gaining about 1,000 a year because there's no serious method of training that they're going under. So Bardock's having to, train these guys up as well. So his growth is a lot more hindered than, say, Rad's and Kakarot's is. Last we had Kakarot around 900. We had Rad's roughly around 1250 or 1275. Factor another year's worth of training in. I'm probably going to even Rad's out about 1800. And remember, we're not doing like serious hardcore training for anything specific. We're just natural training. Goku, I think we could double his power now all the way up to, or a little above, 1900, where now Kakarot is the one who's slightly stronger than Rad's, but Rad's being the older brother, and having been trained just as much in martial arts thanks to Gohan as Kakarot, is still the better fighter for the moment. As, things progress and all that, they do, Kakarot would ultimately overwhelm him. But Kakarot's like, oh, come on, I really want to participate. Like, Kakarot, you're easily 10 times stronger than anyone who's going to participate in that tournament. There's no point. It's not fair to the other fighters on this planet. It's like, fine. So, Krillin still participates. We know that. Tien participates. Now, Tien still gets to be the winner this time around. It's just not fighting Goku. So there's that. We should also note that even though Goku doesn't have the power pole, so because remember, Goku left the power pole back over at the tournament, and that's what got Krillin killed by Tambourine. And yes, the Pilaf gang, I believe, do still awaken King Piccolo by like releasing him from wherever he was. I believe that was the excuse they did. Should also know the Dragon Balls, I think, are actually being kept safely at Kami's at this point. Like, no, the world's not ready. We'll keep them in check. If there is a needed use for them, we'll use them. But for now, we'll keep them up here. Kind of like how the Black Star Balls are kept up there for obvious reasons, at least in GT. That actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it. It's like, why keep the Dragon Balls on Earth? Seriously. You know what they can do. You know the problems they can cause. Yet you still made them. I think it was supposed to be like a hope or some sort of thing like that. That's why you did it. But It's like for now they're because they collected all 7. Like we have all 7, but we don't need anything. And Rad's just like, well, we could, and Bardock's like, we could wish for something to the planet Vegeta to come back because Shenron, no, Purunga brought back Earth. Sorry, Purunga brought back Earth, not Shenron. Getting all my dragons mixed up. It's like, but what would be the point? But yeah, for now we'll keep the Dragon Balls safe at the lookout. If time comes where we need to use them, they will be readily available to us. Makes sense. So Krillin gets to live. Great. There, he doesn't have that friendship with Goku though, which sucks. He's still pretty strong though. Like I said, he's a little bit stronger, I'd say, than his canon counterpart. But that's about it. So when the rumors of like these monsters killing martial artists comes around, everyone's a little shocked and it's like, oh god, it's like, what's going on here? It's like, and Radditz, Bardock, Kakarot, they hear about this. It's like, well, we'll go investigate. Keep an eye on the homestead. You're the strongest fighter on the planet, Father. We cannot afford the risk of losing you. Don't worry though. We and Kakarot should be able to take care of this. Right. We'll see you later, Dad. All right. You boys just take care. And do your father proud. So they go off and look for it, and they run into, I believe there was Tambourine, I know that one, and Symbol, King Piccolo's minions. King Piccolo. Let's see here. What was King Piccolo's follower? Like his children, if you were. Let's see here. He made. Here we go. Piano, tambourine, cymbal, and drum. Oh, he also made ukulele and Poco Sky Dragon, Poco Land Dragon. Either way, yeah. So Piccolo did make those. Guys, but unfortunately, when they run into Goku and Radditz, those guys tear them to shreds. Just tear him to shreds. And Piccolo's trying to find Dragon Balls. Like, where are those blasted Dragon Balls? Now, I believe Piccolo could sense the Dragon Balls, but because they're on the lookout, I think it's a little more difficult for him to figure out what's going on. However, I think he ultimately does catch on that I cannot sense a single Dragon Ball. They must not be on Earth. And then he looks up and is like, Kami, you sly dog, my other half would be so cowardly as to hide the balls from himself. So, he goes straight to the lookout, and, he's intercepted. Well, not intercepted. I think they sense, or not sense, because they still can't sense energy at this time. I would say the energy sensing for after training with Kami for the 3 years. So they end up, they're looking around, and they do see Piccolo's ship going straight to Kami, and Piccolo going straight to Kami's lookout himself. Kami, meanwhile, is keeping his powers suppressed to his older level of powers, just waiting for them to show up. And say, so, at last we meet again, my other half. And so we do indeed. And as Kami steps out of the shower, and King Piccolo is actually like, why you haven't aged a day? How is that possible? It's very simple. A wish was made with the Dragon Balls. Oh, really? Someone wished you were able to wish for you. You had the gumption. Actually, no. My youth being restored was a byproduct of the other's wish. It's like, I don't understand. You need not worry. You won't need to understand. So he's about to. He shows off his true power and is like, and King Piccolo, who could sense energy, I'm almost certain, because he is just the other half of Kami. What? How could you have gotten so strong? With youth comes new vigor, Piccolo, and with new vigor, but an age of advanced wisdom comes the knowledge that you must improve. I've spent several sessions now in hyperbolic time jam. I've improved it. And to do more than just two sessions a lifetime, it's given me quite the boost in strength, as well as strengthening the Dragon Balls indefinitely. So he's like, you, I will have those balls, Kami, no matter what. And Kami just boom, smacks him around. It's like, no, you won't. I should destroy. And Kami was more than willing to kill Piccolo. He was. But Goku's like, nope. If they're both the same, two outs of the same hole. If one dies, they both die. And then the Dragon Balls die, I'm guessing. Isn't that right, Kami? And Kami was willing to do that. Fortunately, though, Radditz and Goku and Bardock, I think that, like, the Saiyans do show up. It's like, Kami, what are you doing? It's like, I'm going to end this. It's like, if you end it, the Dragon Balls are gone. Dragon Balls are gone. They might be their temptations are evil, sure, but there's a lot of good that can be done with them as well. Don't waste this, Kami. Don't waste what you're. Don't waste this. Don't waste the potential we have here. Piccolo cannot be allowed to live. He cannot be allowed to walk the earth again. Yeah, don't worry. It's like, don't, and then Bardock gets like, yeah, don't worry. It's like, oh, put me down, you. And then Bardock flexes his power, which is even greater than Kami's. Like, and Kami's like, he's still even stronger than I am. Amazing. Like, now look, Piccolo, we maybe have got off on the wrong foot. My name's Bardock, and you're a problem. He was sealed before. Got anything to seal him again? To which Kami actually gets like. I kind of think it was like, asking Finn. It's like, any trash compactors, garbage chutes? Yeah, there is. It's like, yes, there is. No, I won't go back. I won't. And then just knocks him clean. It's like, all right, where do you want him? In here. And then they just seal him in there. It's like, no! So King Piccolo is sealed again. In fact, it's like, and then Bardock's just like, actually, good. In fact, all of a sudden, even though he's sealed, they bring out Shenron. It's like, Shenron, we have a wish. It's like, speak your wish. You see that King Piccolo resides in this like pot, something like that. Well, you wish for him to be wish for the strongest seal you can conjure, so he may never escape again. It's like, your wish is granted. Speak your second wish. That's it for now, Shenron. Remember, the Dragon Balls can recharge within about 6 months as opposed to the full year, if only the 2 wishes are given, or one of the 2 wishes. Very well. Farewell. As the Dragon Balls are about to launch out into the world. Well, it seems. Well, Kami, you were right. Having keeping the Dragon Balls up here was a good idea. Indeed, it was. And if this seal is anything to go, if Shenron's abilities are anything to go by, this seal should not be broken by anything lesser than a truly powerful form of magic. But thank you very much. Again, I suppose I'm in your debt to some degree. It's like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. Like, yeah, no, seriously, it would seem like a waste to lose something that could help so many people when we need it. It's like, how can I repay it? Well, I mean, yeah, I can tell you've improved quite a bit, Kami. You really were flexing that energy. Can't sense it myself, but I'm a trained warrior. I can tell a warrior when I see one. How'd you do it? It's like, I suppose it's the least I can do I can do for you after what you did. Follow me. This is the hyperbolic time chamber. And he explains how the hyperbolic time chamber works. By the way, I did around 9,000 because I figured I had Kami around 600 after getting his youth back. The gravity in the hyperbolic time chamber is a consistent 10 times, but the conditions beyond that get harsher the deeper you go. Spend a year in there, I imagine a full 10 times. Plus, Kami's probably not doing straight physical training half the time. He's probably doing like mental training as well. As 6,000 isn't anywhere near out of the realm of possibility. And then, half that because he's gotten stronger. And he's probably only doing so much training. I think that's more than reasonable. And it's like, oh, this should be good. Unfortunately, however, only 2 people can go at any given time. Really? Well, not exactly, but there's only enough food consistently for two people. It restocks immediately after reopening. So yeah, they can. So Kami is now basically saying, yeah, you can go in there as many times as you really need to. Obviously, they don't up until Super. They don't use the hyperbolic time chamber very often. But because Goku said that's why Goku didn't go back in for the second time, just didn't think it would be very helpful. I would argue that that's still not. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Like, go in there anyway, Goku. Like, get as much training as you can get in. Like, Goku's like, I was gonna pass the torch on to Gohan. Gohan doesn't like fighting, you idiot. What? No. Oh my god, I made a terrible mistake. Ben's like, yeah, I should have gone in for that second time, huh? Maybe Gohan would have actually learned how to tap into the damn thing, transform into Super Saiyan 2 naturally over a year's worth of training, and that wouldn't have... Anyway, Goku was never the best parent. Not the brightest bulb in the pack. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave it off, where basically we're going to kind of get that time skip between the Piccolo years and the final tournament years. Note that there is no Piccolo, like Piccolo Jr. Like, Piccolo does not exist in this version of the story at this point. He does in terms of King Piccolo, but not my Jr., the Piccolo we know in the series. So that's where we're leaving off part 5. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win. Star Wars, Superhero, Magic, what if. Anything new on the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. Get that at some point. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you folks next time. Have a good one.